Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about ArrayList, and last section we saw arrays, and arrays had a limitation of being fixed length, right? So ArrayList is a collection implementation of a list interface. So there are different types of implementation for list interface like ArrayList, linked list, vector, stack, but the most commonly used is ArrayList, and of course we would be using different implementation based on our requirement, right? So ArrayList is one famous such collection method, and let's see how it works, right? So to create a list we will have to mention, okay, we want a list, and in that we will be mentioning the same type. Just a minute, yeah. Okay, so I have to tell your reference name. Okay, so list, we are giving the reference name and we are initiating a new array list. Okay, and we are saying that it will have all characters as string. Okay, so now in order to add elements to that, all we have to do is use the add method. So let's say we are adding some values. Okay, so these are the different methods. So for now, in order to print out your list, you just have to do this, and you can see the output as Arun Nair and test. All these values are stored successfully in our array list. Now in order to remove any value, all you have to do is use the remove method. So let's say I want to remove, if I go hover over this, we can pass the value that needs to be removed. This is one way of doing it. So let's see. Okay, and we'll print this again. So as you can see, we were able to remove this, right? And also if you want, we can also see the different methods that are there. If you see, we can remove by index as well. So if I remove one again and I try to print it back, so as you can see, only one element remains in the list because we were removing the first index, which is test. Okay, and Nair was already removed earlier. So this is how you can play around. And if you want to see what all are the different methods that are used, so add is what we already saw, remove also we saw, and then clear is something which will basically remove all the elements. We'll see that in a bit. Also we can see if it contains a particular value. So remove with index, remove by passing the string, remove first, remove last. There are different methods. Size. Okay, so let's see what's the size now. Okay, so we can print the size as well, right? And if we want to get the value, let me add a couple of more values. Before that, let me add. So if we try to add a number, it won't allow because of course we already mentioned that it has to be a string, so we will have to add a string only. Okay, so now if I'm printing this again, you see new values have been added. So that's why it's a dynamic size. And now if I want to print this again, this time I will try to get values. I would do get of 2, the second index value. So let me see what gets printed. So auto is getting printed because 0 1 2 auto is in the second index, and we got that. Okay, so we got the size, we did add, remove, we did get. We can also set values now. For example, if I want to do ls.set, I will have to give the index at 1. I want to add a new value which is team. Okay, and let me print that again. Let's see if it is overridden or no. So Arun at 1, we override it and set the value as team. Okay, so this is how it works. And also directly we can do contains and check if it contains team. Okay, so let's say I will print this out. So it should return true. So yeah, it's true. Let me change the value and see if it works otherwise as well. So it returned false. So this is a very important method, contain, so that instead of creating a loop iterating to each value, we can directly instead find out whether that list contains a certain text or no. Okay, now another important thing is basically let's see whether it is empty or no. So ls dot is empty. Okay, is it empty? False, it is not empty, right? So let me do one thing. I will do ls.clear, which clears the entire values, and basically then I will reprint this again. Okay, so let me run again. earlier it was false, then it became true. Okay, so it became empty because we did clear. Clear basically, if you hover over it, it will say that removes all of the elements from the list. Okay, so this is how you can read what each method does as well, right? Appends the specified element to the end of the list. So the important characteristics of ArrayList is it is dynamic in size, and another important thing is it maintains the insertion order. Okay, so whatever order we have inserted the values, that order is always maintained. Okay, and we will talk about the other types of list implementations as well, but for now this is all the important kind of operations that can be done using a list. Now let me create another array list this time, and let me remove all this for now. Okay, and let me put ls1 and ls1 dot. Now let me add a couple of more elements. Okay, now you can also convert this back to an array. Okay, so all you need to do is to array, okay, and assign. Okay, so you are converting this back to an array, and let's print it out as well. So for example, in last section I told you how to print an array. Okay, let's print this. So we were able to print an array as well. So these are the different ways in which you can do things. Now of course, if I add a number, it won't allow, right? Because we declared that this is a string. But there are certain questions where they will ask, can we add an integer to an array list? Add both string and integer to an array list. So that is also possible, but for that you will have to mention object. Okay, if that is the case, then this will work. And if you see this, now we were able to add 1 as well. Okay, so with this you will be able to add both integer and string. So if you hover over this, see, it is also saying that the return type is an object array. Okay, so this is how you can play around with arrays and use it in your day-to-day implementations. And in coming lectures we will talk more about the different types of list implementations and what are the differences, which is used when, and we can deep dive further. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.